Michael Caputo is a longtime Roger Stone confidant, former advisor to the Donald Trump campaign. Michael, welcome back to the show, my friend. Great to have you with us this morning.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Michael? All good with you, my friend?
My family and I are kind of slowly creeping out of the hole of this Russia hoax. But I'm very worried about my friend Roger. They've on their way out, as they were closing the door on their bogus investigation, they nabbed Roger, and I'm very concerned.
I can't believe it. I mean, because it's the Russia. This is the Mueller probe. You got slammed with your legal bills that we've talked about, and you were just so stoic, and your perseverance was so admirable to get through. It was a hoax. It was made up. It was like a coup. Then they go to the Ukraine coup. These people won't stop, Michael. And now, what about the collateral damage that is happening in this Ukraine situation? But to go back to Roger, you're prohibited from speaking with Roger Stone, correct?
It's actually Roger is prohibited from speaking to me under a court order. I went to the trial every day. I went to Washington from Buffalo. I attended every day.
Wow.
And every time Roger walked by, I had to turn my back on him in the hallway. In the cafeterias, we had to sit on opposite sides of the room.
Unbelievable.
We were told that if we even gave a hand gesture or an eye signal to each other, we'd both go to prison, and I don't understand why. I don't know why. Nobody explained to me why. And by the way, Joe, we still can't talk to each other. More importantly, Roger can't talk at all. We have jurors from his trial, jurors who found him guilty on all counts, writing opinion articles for the Washington Post, and Roger Stone still can't speak. It's like we're living in Russia, Joe. We're living in Russia.
It's so true. This comes from the judge, correct? The judge has put this all into play. Did you in the trial, the Roger Stone trial, did you get the impression that it was a fair trial, Michael?
Oh, I'll tell you, this is my first criminal trial I've ever attended, except for what I saw in Law and Order. And it seemed to me to be going forward as I expected. It was an Obama-appointed judge who I thought was trying to do a fair job. I think there are certain things that she did that were unfair, like fencing in the defense what they could talk about, what they couldn't. They couldn't talk about whether or not the Russians even hacked that server at the DNC. And then, of course, the jury selection, all from the District of Columbia. There's no chance that Roger was going to get a jury of his peers.
Well, do you think that are there issues that will be overturned on appeal?
Well, I'm not an attorney. I think they have room for appeal. I didn't think the defense did all that good of a job, frankly, but I'm not an attorney, so I can't tell you. I think there's room for appeal. But more importantly, I think vastly more important, it's time for the president to take a look at this and understand that his most loyal friend, the only person who was adjudicated in this Russia hoax, who was found guilty of trying to protect the president from nothing. I think the president needs to look at this and consider a pardon very soon.
Well, how about today when he does the turkeys? We've been saying I think Roger should be. How great would that be? I mean, really, and we're being coy here, but how great it would be if Roger was there at the White House and all of a sudden the president just pardons him with the turkeys. I mean, but you know that President Trump will pardon Roger Stone. I'm sure that's going to happen. Is that what you're feeling, Michael?
I feel he will, but this is a very precarious political environment.
Yeah,
there are people around the president who don't know Roger Stone, or some who don't like Roger Stone, and they might be advising him differently. And frankly, I don't even know what Roger wants to do next. If I knew, I'd try to help. Maybe I'd go talk to the president. Well, I don't even know because we cannot talk. It's abominable, Joe. It's abominable. I've never seen anything like it. And your listeners, if they care, should go to the White House petition website and sign the petition to pardon Roger Stone.
Do you have the website? Do we have the website? What that is? We will post that because I think, and Frankie said earlier, Michael, that they're blocking. Sometimes you would register to sign your signature, and a lot of the times it was blocked. I mean, this is like Russia. This is like a China. What's happening here? And before, you know what, Michael, we appreciate your time in the morning, and I know I ask you this, but if you would, for the folks kind enough to listen, walk us through what you went through and how you were collateral damage on this attempted coup to take down on the president that had no substance. What you had to go through in your life, Michael Caputo.
Well, it was something, I lived in Russia for 7 years. I was sent there by the Clinton administration in the 90s. So, and I know President Trump since the late 80s. So naturally, I was his conduit to Vladimir Putin, right? Because if you believe in the hocus pocus of the Russia investigation, it adds up that Michael Caputo would be a cloak and dagger in this. So they investigated me upwards and downwards. The House, the Senate, the Mueller investigation. I believe that they searched my house and my office when I wasn't there. I caught them searching through my garbage out front. I had no idea the surveillance that I was going through. I can't imagine what Roger was going through. But it cost me over $200,000 in legal fees, upwards of $300,000. But I was lucky enough to raise that money from supporters of Donald Trump. It ruined my business. I had to lay off all my people. We're still recovering. We're back to where we were before I went to work for President Trump. But I don't know if Roger Stone can ever repair his life. I think we can. I was kind of marginal in this, the collateral damage, as you say.
Yeah.
But Roger Stone is taking direct hits. I don't know if he'll ever recover.
I know, and he's not allowed to talk to anybody about it. It's unbelievable. But I really think in the end it will turn out, Michael. I know the president will step up for his friend. By the way, on another note, we want to tell everybody about your podcast. Are you enjoying doing your podcast? And where can we find that, Michael?
Sure, you can find it on all the usual suspects, radio.com and Stitcher, et cetera. But you can find it at stillstandingpodcast.com. It's actually been pretty difficult for me to keep doing this. I find it very emotional to even talk about it. I give the listeners an inside view as to what I went through. Joe, I was thrown out of the trial at the end. When the verdict came in, I didn't stand up. And then when they forced me to stand up, I turned my back on the jury, and they threw me right out of the building. On my way out, a U.S. Marshal told me, I said, I could never do your job. I'd die first. And he said, that can be arranged. This has been a wild, wild ride, and I documented on my podcast at stillstandingpodcast.com.
Oh, my gosh. And again, before we let you go, Michael, what would you say to Roger Stone if you could talk to him right now at this minute?
Anything I can do, please let me help. And God forbid that he actually has to go to prison. His sentencing date is February 4th. It's very possible that they put him in chains and take him away on February 4th. I'm just praying for him every single day.
All right. Michael, thanks for joining us, man. All the very, very best. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
And you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Caputo right there.